It's midday right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you up to speed with the happenings in politics and in the polity right now. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the military hierarchy and the Inspector General of Police to ensure perpetrators of Benue attack are brought to book. His Royal Majesty the Totive classifies killings in Benue as a well-calculated, full-scale genocidal invasion for land grabbing by header terrorists. And the federal government arraigned Senator Natasha on 3-count charge bordering on alleged defamation of Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. Welcome again to the program. The last 24 hours has been very eventful across the polity. Our job is simple and our responsibility is straight: to binge through all of them and bring you the biggest highlight of all of the things that are happening, just to bring you up to speed with the latest as far as Nigeria is concerned. So let's get started with what's going on right now in the nation's capital, Abuja. In just a moment, you're going to see the visuals of the state of security around the court premises in Abuja, where the government is arraigned the senator representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha on a 3-count charge bordering on alleged defamation of Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. The security operatives are seen around the court premises at the Federal High Court Territory, High Court, where she has been arraigned already. You can see her present in court. Well, present in court with her as well is her husband, as well as the former Minister of Education, Obieze Kwesili, activist Aisha Yusufu. I can also see Peter Aka, an activist as well, and a ton of other supporters who have made their way to the courtroom to hear this defamation case preferred against by the federal government as federal government the principal complainant, where the nominal complainant are the Senate President and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. Well, one of the things that has been talked about the most has been that visit by the president to Benue State. And some are saying, commending, some are saying it's underwhelming. There are different remarks as far as the president's visit is concerned. He couldn't make it to Yawata because of the rains and the flood. That in itself has gotten the president some flack. And of course, the having of children waiting for him to welcome him. There are so many parts to it. It depends on who is talking and what you're looking at. But let's bring you a recap of what played out in Benue State yesterday.
The presidential aircraft bearing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu touches down at the Tactical Air Command Airport in Makurdi. At exactly 1:05 p.m., a visit driven by grief, urgency, and a firm demand for justice in the wake of Yelwata killings. President Tinubu was received by the Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, alongside a delegation of governors and senior officials. The president then proceeds to the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, where he visits victims of last Saturday's brutal attack on Yelwata.
Some of them took 4 units of blood, 6 units, and multiple units. So if you have started at 4 points, it means that we also have serious problems because You have to join the intestines at those points.
He offers words of sympathy and solidarity to the injured, many of whom are battling life-threatening wounds. Elsewhere in Makurdi, the new banquet hall of the Benue State Government House is packed to capacity. Dignitaries present include traditional rulers, led by the Tortiv, service chiefs, federal and state lawmakers, as well as APC national chairman and key cabinet ministers. President Tinubu enters the hall alongside Governor Hyacinth Alia as the high-level stakeholders meeting begins. Opening the conversation on the tragic killings in Benue State, the Tortiv delivers a solemn appeal to President Tinubu.
What we are dealing with in Benue is a calculated, well-planned, full-scale genocidal invasion and land-grabbing campaign by header terrorists and bandits, which has been on for decades and is worsening every year. Wrong diagnosis will always lead to wrong treatment. So we are dealing with something far more sinister than we think about. It's not learning to live with your neighbors. It is dealing with a war. We appeal to you to end the genocide going on in Benue State and the insecurity in all parts of Nigeria. We know you are capable of doing it, sir.
If not, we'd say this more than this.
Governor Alia then mounts the podium with an appeal to the federal government to establish state police and an intervention fund following the fresh wave of killings in the north central state.
While we continue to mourn our losses and rebuild from the ashes of pain, we humbly urge the federal government to consider establishing a special intervention fund for communities affected by these incessant attacks in Benue State. Such a fund would go a long way in supporting the rehabilitation of the displaced persons, rebuilding of destroyed infrastructure, and restoring the livelihoods of our farmers and families whose lives have been upended.
President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Having listened attentively to the voices in the room, President Tinubu turned his focus to the nation's security chiefs and the Inspector General of Police, issuing firm directives, posing pointed questions, and demanding swift accountability.
I give you the assurance that we will find peace. We will convert this tragedy to prosperity. Again and again, police, I hope your men are on alert to listen to information. How come no arrest is being made? I expect there should be arrests of those criminals. Christopher, thank you very much. I watch your comments, and we need to keep our ears to the ground. Let's get to those criminals. Let's get them out.
As the dust settles in Makurdi, President Tinubu's visit leaves behind not just words, but weighty expectations for action, for justice, and for healing.
Okay, that's what played out in Benue State. Just to recap, let's bring in our guest, the special advisor to the SGF, that's the Secretary to the Government of the Federation on Public Affairs, Mr. Terence Quanum, joining us virtually. Also joining us is Mr. Solomon Ayophev, the Media Technical Advisor to the Governor of Benue State. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much for having me.
Let me start with Mr. Solomon. A quick assessment, and I would want to appeal that if you can keep your answers brief so I can ask as many questions as possible, because this is a serious conversation. Now the president has eventually visited. Remarks have been made. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to Yawata. He's been criticized for that as well, but he said the flood and the state of the road was responsible for that. Now that the president has visited Benue and you've heard him say what he said, what is the feeling in Benue right now? Did the president reassure the people?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, it is reassuring. It's like someone who has been hurt very deeply, being consoled by his father. That the president had time to come to Benue State was quite comforting for all of us in Benue, at least well-meaning Benue citizens. And all of us were happy to see him. He gave assurances that there's going to be peace. And you heard him ask the IG of police why no arrests have been made. And he demanded that arrests should be made. That's to say that investigations should be done very thoroughly. He asked the DSS to ensure to tighten their ropes of communication information so that intelligence will be gathered much more to prevent this from happening next time. And of course, we heard what he told the CDS to get his people more out there to prevent these things from happening and so that the criminals can be brought to book. So it was actually a very good visit, and we're reassured by his visit.
Let me stay with you for a moment before I go to Mr. Terence. When I listen to the president, if I do an overview, it looks like the president was doing a lot of political housekeeping, literally, implicitly, from onlookers' point of view, that the governor is not doing enough to protect his people. Is that a feeler the governor got yesterday? Because a lot of things were directed at him.
Well, I don't think so. It depends on the interpretation. When you were doing your introduction, you also said it depends on where you're standing and looking at the speech or hearing the speech from. It wasn't a blame game. It wasn't a blame game for anyone. He was talking to the House generally. He was talking to everyone. He was talking to all Benue citizens and indigents. All of us, members of the state, were citizens of the state, and everyone should be responsible for what's happening in the state. It's not an individual thing. It doesn't belong to one person. Especially security is not an individual's business.
Mr. Terence, let me come to you now. The SGF has the ears of the president. They work together in cabinet. People that report to him include the NSA when it comes to security, the service chiefs, and I'm sure the SGF will have a conversation with him concerning the state. He's been a governor there. The governor also has access to the president. But one thing was very clear yesterday, and it was a bit disturbing. When the toll thief came out and was brutally honest, saying this is not what you were told it is a mischaracterization of what it is. As a matter of fact, this is a genocidal invasion by header militias, and he was very clear on his position. The president, when he came, perhaps trying to de-escalate things, was more focused on internal wranglings of the people, the political class in that sense. So it looks like the president's brief and that of the toll thief are at variance. Is that what you observe?
Thanks for having me. First off, we need to appreciate the visit of the president to our people, console them, and the attention of putting up some of his schedules to be here with us today. It was quite warming for us, and we were happy. Our people were consoled by that visit, and we are also very excited at the directives he has given to be able to set up a peaceful state that will end the killings of people. Fundamentally, as the Benue people, what we want is peace for our people so that development will be able to come to our people. The president speaks for very explicit support for unity. He called for peace because the directive he has given to his national security advisor, the NSA, the General Police, and the service team all need the cooperation of the state government to be able to achieve that. And so nothing was quite strange about what the president said. He called for unity, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is totally committed to unity and peace in Benue, and he has already issued a statement submitting totally to the directives of the president. and we're going to follow them in total 100% to make sure that we achieve peace in Benue.
Mr. Terence, I don't think you answered my question, and this is the bone of the contention. I said I will stay with you for a moment. This same question I will direct it to Mr. Solomon. When the president's release came, one of his first phrases was, "Enough is enough." And he said, he used phrases like communal clashes, it's time for Governor Alia to be a statesman, and he mentioned a couple of things. The tortive replied the president to his face, from his mouth to the president's listening ear. "Mr. President, you were wrong. Let me not put it that way. Whatever you were told was not entirely correct. So as the custodian of the heritage of the Tiv people and the traditional ruler in charge, the head of traditional institution in the whole of the state, I am telling you here and now that this is what is responsible for the problem of this, what we're dealing with today, and it's been a long time coming." But even when the president came in, he dwelt more with what he aligned with in his speech, which has to do with housekeeping. So I ask again, Mr. Terence, are we being evasive to the fundamental truth of what we're dealing with, and is there going to be a solution in sight?
No, it is not now that we have emphasized that what is happening to our people, what is happening to our people is actually genocide. It is not today that we've been saying that. We know the people that have been attacking us, they have several times come out to take responsibilities of this killing. They are not here, they are in this country. They come up and make press statements, they come out and make press conferences sometimes, and members of them go out into the media space to be able to take responsibility for this killing. It's not today. And so what the Totivo simply did was that the impression of going to negotiate with our killers was just trying the president to know that as commander-in-chief, he should be able to face the crisis that we've had, which is a genocidal attack from the Fulani herdsmen, from the bandits that have invaded this country, that have several times, even security chiefs have taken responsibility of telling us that people are invading in our borders and they are coming to attack our people. That was what the Totivo was saying. The speeches was not as dire. Fundamentally, the president wanted the killings in Benue to stop. He went to the hospital. He's tired of this crisis. He wants this place to be stabilized so that agriculture will be boosted. So nothing was at variance. The president only emphasized on the issue of unity, on the issue of coming together, on the issue of sharing intel. And so there's no misunderstanding about the speech of the president and that of the Totivo. The Totivo was very emphatic. That is what is going on for some time. These people, we know them. They have come out to take responsibilities of these killings today. Even as this water incident took place, we are seeing videos in public domain that people have come out to take responsibility and even told us that they are still coming back to take over our land. And so what the Totivo said was good. The president also, in response, gave directives to the service chief to that effect that arrest must be made. The national state government was also called into place as the neighboring state to cooperate with the government of Benue State and the service chief to make sure that all these arrests are made and everything is in place for peace to return to Benue. And as going back, he also directed that the committee of peace to be put in place, and he is going to participate and form that committee to make sure that we achieve peace in Benue. So nothing is at variance at any point. We are united as a people to end this crisis, and we are calling for the cooperation of the state government and every stakeholder that is involved to give total cooperation so that peace will return to them.
All right, Mr. Let me bring the same question to Mr. Solomon as well. Mr. Solomon, the president has talked about you being united. If land is issued, there is, let me use my own word now, but paraphrasing what he's saying, love and sharing. I don't know how that's going to work. But the Totivo was emphatic. He said misdiagnosis of the problem will lead to the wrong treatment. What do you think the Totivo was trying to say there?
Well, Totivo was crying as a father, and he stated the facts. He told the truth. He said what we are going through. And my dear brother, you've never, maybe, and I pray it doesn't happen, where you wake up in the morning and your brothers and sisters are slaughtered like cows and killed like chickens and burned to ashes. It's a horrible, horrible situation. And so the Totivo was saying clearly, this is not a war. This is not a fight between the herdsmen and farmers. If it was a fight, you draw your dagger, I draw mine. You come to me, we face ourselves and we fight. But this is a pure attack on the people. This is an attack on people who are helplessly sleeping at night, who are not prepared for battle, are not prepared for war, and you come and slaughter them in their sleep and in their beds. That's not a fight between two people. That's an attack. That's genocide. And so he brought that clearly to the table. And this is what my governor has also been saying. Another well-meaning citizens of Benue State have been saying time and again. This thing has gone beyond farmer-herder clashes. It's an invasion. It's an attempt, it's an annihilation. It's an attempt by people to take over the land of Benue State. And that's what the two told the president. I think what he did was give him a situation report as it is. And like Kwanum said, that also should also give direction to the service chiefs who were there. Don't be looking at this thing as a clash, as though you are telling farmers, calm down, this and this. Farmers are not at war. Farmers are not fighting anyone. They're coming to attack us in our own land. So that's what the two told the president yesterday. And no, there is no politics there. All Tuti was I heard all the president was trying to say was unity is what is going to make us stand together as a people to be able to fight the enemy that is coming against us. No politicizing of these matters. That's what he was talking about. Don't play politics with it. Stay together as a people as you find this. The most important thing was the directive and the marching order he gave to the service chief.
All right, Mr. Kwanum, let me come to you. I'm happy we've mentioned the word politics here because the president spent a lot of time talking to the politicians and talking to the governor that he needs to speak with his brothers and all of that. We know there's been this Cold War. And one of the things the president did yesterday was to say, if you don't create room for sabotage, nobody can come and sabotage you as a governor of the state. If there's no gap, nobody will come and look for an opportunity to destroy the work you're doing. The SGF and the governor have had issues for a long time coming. Has that issue now with this current situation, are they putting it behind them for to look for what is in the interest of the generality of the people? But trust me, I listened. The president spoke a lot about the political feud in codes yesterday. So you work with the SGF. What is the situation right now? Are they shooting their sword for the betterment of the people of Benue State?
Thank you very much for that question. The SGF is the father of modern Benue, and he has stated so many times and so many forums that he has no peace with the government. And he has always fought for prayers for the government and all leaders across the country, and the president in particular, for the development of our state and our country. And like I told you in my opening address, I told you that the SDF has appreciated the coming of the president. The SDF is totally committed to peace, to end this crisis. And at the moment, what we are facing is the crisis that is facing our people. We are committed to bringing peace. The committee set by the president, as every former governor has traditional rulers and major stakeholders that will be selected, and they are going to come together as brothers to bring peace to our people. What we are concerned now is this is the father of this state, and we are committed to peace. We are not discussing issues, we are not discussing politics. We want our people to have peace. When it's time for politics, we'll do politics.
All right, Mr. Solomon, so let's begin to wind down. Your last take on this, as to this feud between the governor and the SGF. In fact, as a matter of fact, the letter inviting, I can't remember who wrote that letter, but something around mobilization or so, where the person was inviting, the people he was inviting, and was emphasizing in that letter that the governor is the leader of the All Progressives Congress in the state, which has been part of the political feud in that sense. So where are we at that moment? Because right now, one life to be saved, but where are we as far as the issue between the governor and the SGF is concerned?
I think you got your answer very clearly from Kwame. We're not talking politics. We're not playing politics. What has happened in Benue State is a very serious thing, and it shouldn't be politicized. So at this point in time, I won't be wanting the media to be looking at who is our problems and loggerheads with who or who is what. You should be trying to reach out for whoever can support and help in whichever way to drive the fact that lives matter they should not be lost the way they have been lost. I'm not about the political differences. We're not talking politics here. We're talking about the lives of people. And what the president came for yesterday was to ensure that we have the restoration of peace in Benue. And that's where our emphasis are. The governor is determined to ensure that this is brought to a close and this matter doesn't arise again. People should live in peace. We are farmers. We need to go back to our farms. We don't need these fights. We don't need these killings. We don't need these slaughters. And that's what we're looking for. And the governor is committed to that 1,010%, much more. Whatever it takes to make that happen, he is willing and ready to do it. So it's not about politics. I think you should be more sympathetic with us and focus more on the fact that our people are dying and we're looking for solutions to that, rather than politics of who is on whose side and who is fighting who. I think that should be the emphasis for now. And all media houses should help us towards doing that, and not about the differences between politicians.
Yeah, Mr. Solomon, we've been on Benue throughout the week. That's how important Benue's life, the lives of your people are important to all of us. You're citizens of Nigeria, so whatever happens to you happens to all of us by extension. But when we are asking these questions, trust me, we know exactly what we are saying, because even the toll thief himself yesterday was saying there are even politicians who are hoping that this continues so that a state of emergency will be declared. I'm sure you heard him. You were just standing by the stage there. I think I saw you. So not as if there is a... Just hold on, Mr. Solomon.
But that does not mean that solutions are not coming. We're not working at solutions. Of course, when politicians are in a state, there are differences. You have oppositions in different parts. You have people who think differently. All right? So it's possible there are people who are thinking in that direction. Okay. But now the emphasis is leave politics out and let's focus on what's ahead. I think that's what the president was trying to talk about. And even to achieve at the end of the day.
Fantastic. So we hope that everybody, whichever side you belong to, will come together and let this killing stop. That is what is important to all of us. I must thank you both. Solomon Arpev, Benue State, the media technical advisor to the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Aliyah, as well as Mr. Terence Quanum, is the special advisor, public affairs in the office of the SGF. Gentlemen, we pray for peace in Benue State. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so just before we go, we can tell you that one of our lead stories, Natasha the suspended senator, that been arraigned by the federal government, on a 3-count charge. She's pleaded not guilty. The presiding judge, Justice Chizoba, has granted Senator Natasha bail in the sum of 50 million naira with one surety, and that surety must have a landed property in Abuja, must be a responsible resident of the FCT. The case has now been adjourned to September the 23rd, 2025 for trial. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.